Dear CBC, as a Western Canadian resident, I am getting sick and tired of having my NHL team catering to the Toronto or Montreal and Ottawa teams for schedules on Saturday nights. Granted, that game is the first part of the doubleheader on Saturday Night Hockey Night in Canada, but you people tend to forget about the second half. You see, most people may be out in Toronto or Montreal or Ottawa, have a good time while their NHL team is doing a West Coast trip, which to me, mind you, it's a good idea to actually put butts in the seats of the bars in those three cities instead of having those places empty during the NHL season on Saturdays. Have the every time Toronto, the Maple Leafs are doing a West Coast trip, saying to Edmonton, Calgary, then Vancouver, and on one of those three games, they can actually, if Toronto is in Calgary on a Saturday, that means it won't kill the Toronto players to actually have the second game in the doubleheader, while, say, Montreal has the first game. So it's about balance, because it shows that Toronto is not the center of the universe. It's about equality. And it wouldn't kill the Leafs players actually not being first every week. Because I know fans who live in Vancouver or Calgary or Edmonton, they want to have who are on their day off, wants to have a nice relaxing afternoon before going to their respective arenas to actually catch a game, but not have a quick lunch, then try and take their transit or get stuck in traffic and also all this BS to get stuck in traffic and getting packed into their transit to get to their arenas. Because look, it won't be, you have to think that if Toronto is in like a Calgary or Edmonton or Vancouver for us on a Saturday night, you know what? That means that if they take the 7 o'clock game, 10 Eastern, the play after the game, the players can actually drop their equipment off at the hotel which they are staying at, and then have a night out for a few drinks in the city that they're during an away game, and have a few drinks with the fans, and maybe catch the highlights of the game while at said bar, so they can actually learn from their mistakes if it's a win or a loss, instead of taking the 4 o'clock game and waste the traffic of it at 7 p.m. ish for the when people have to go back to their places, and if Robson Street in Vancouver is full of fans, but I can see Toronto actually doing, to me, like I said, about having the second part of the doubleheader. That means the bars in Ottawa or Toronto or Montreal, they'll be packed with fans to actually watch their team in the second part of the doubleheader on Saturday nights, and they can enjoy the nightlife. Because what's better than staying at home and free, or standing outside of their respective arenas watching the game, cheering on their respective team in the cold? Not me. Because think about it. I can see that the CBC and TSN Sportsnet, they don't want to care about the people out east. It's always about the East Coast teams. But it's about accepting that they have sports teams that are actually, they should actually care about all the teams. That means if the Toronto feed, if the Sportsnet feed for, say, the Pacific region, where I'm from, they can actually, instead of showing the Leaf game at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, they can show it on tape delay at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Because, say if at 4 o'clock on Sportsnet, there's a documentary about a MMA fighter from the Okanagan that people want to hear about, or an hour block talking about the BCHL and the Junior B leagues in all around BC to actually showcase all these different leagues in British Columbia, instead of watching the Leafs face against, say, Buffalo, for example. But then they can watch it at 7 o'clock to actually, to make it feel like it's a primetime game, instead of having it at not quite prime time. And this is Malibu signed Sean Bateman.